And that's a valid point. I never thought about that as well. That's
Okay.
something logical though.
Boy, you gotta help me out with the first stuff, okay? I kind of fell asleep and wasn't watching fully. Especially I couldn't watch the goal that we conceded. I saw Fede's goal. But apart from that, I don't know who created the most chances. I know Hazard was shit. You don't have to watch the match to know he was shit.
Like it wasn't like it was they all the shit actually, to be honest. But then anyways, yeah, I get you. I think we have a guest.
Is it Kenita?
Yep, it is.
Right. Okay. Well, don't read out the comments, bro. Farouk can see the comments, right?
I'm on the comments. I can see the comments. Yeah, I'm good with that. So Yadu, sorry, before you go, just let's get this. Like, you're gonna run the intro and then tell us we're live, right? I mean, you can just even type it in the chat or text me and then we can.
One second. I'm gonna send you, Farouk, this Kenita's page. Instagram. Just post it in the description so that people can see. 1 second.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get you sooner. You said you're gonna send me something to do what with it?
Yeah, Kenita's the Memento Madridismo's Insta page, the link.
Ah, sure. I will just try to do it.
So confused.
Okay, yeah. Welcome, Kenita.
Oh,
Nice to have you, man.
Welcome to our market. Don't worry, you'll get confused.
Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Here podcast. We are here with our S-Team panel, Javier, Farouk, Doris. I hope you guys are good. We have someone special as well with us today. Kanita, she is the founder of Memento Madridismo, who I shall call as one of the pioneers in covering our Feminino team for over a year now. And Kanita, if you want to just shortly introduce yourself, we can get into it deeply towards the latter part of the episode, but you might as well introduce yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So as was previously said, I'm Kanita. I'm the founder of Memento Madridismo, and Memento Madridismo is actually a group of quite a few people that started a podcast, and we have a page on Instagram and Twitter, and we make edits. It was just created to mainly support our Feminino team. It's obviously a men's team as well, but we are focused on Feminino because we wanted to have more content out there, our women's team, to introduce more people to our team. So that's basically what Memento Madridismo serves. It's actually an international kind of fan base. It's not anything official, but it's kind of a community that can be international, and there are not many pages that inform people about community team in English. So basically, that's it.
I mean, I could say by the looks of it, it's a very close-knit community. Like there's a very small concentration of people who are actually working on Feminino, which is pleasant surprise, because when you take the men's football scene, it's much more spread out, and sometimes people kind of lose the togetherness, sometimes in this kind of scene. But I would like to take this moment to actually tell our audience that Memento Madridismo and us, we are actually collaborating for a new Feminino series called the Reinas Blancas podcast, which is going to be launching soon. It's still in the pipeline, but we have actually put out a poster and stuff on our social if you have actually been vigilant, and looking forward to it, Kanita. And I hope our listeners are as well, because it's been requested for quite a bit now that we kind of give Feminino the attention it deserves. And I think this is a very exciting direction for both of us. So
for sure.
So I think
we can't wait either. Our group. So it's not just me. So yeah.
Canada has a whole team of that dedicatedly work on all aspects covering Feminino, not just the podcast, but just keep your eyes peeled on the socials. But getting back to more pressing things from today, Mallorca, which was always deemed as a pushover, they gave it a proper fight. At least for the first half, Mallorca gave us plenty of problems. I would like to come to you, Farouk, first. So, was it expected such a slow start from us?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a slow start throughout the season, if I'm not mistaken. The first half of almost every game has been, labeled like, the Celtic game. I remember even even the Super Cup with Frankfurt as well. Even the games we've won across the past couple of weeks. We started scoring, I think, around the 68th mark. And we scored three goals in the span of 20-15 minutes, and this late in the second half. Yeah, so this late starts could come to one day. I don't know, because I just imagine the chance that Vedat Murki had in 30 seconds, man. I saw Lewandowski yesterday, and the man he's a killer, man. If that was Lewandowski, it's 1-0. You go back to the chance with Celtic also in the middle of the week as well. I didn't watch the game, but I saw the highlights as well. That chance also is one goal, one chance, one goal, man. No matter how good Courtois is, there are chances that you get into that. It's no longer how good your goalkeeper is, but how bad your striker is. That's why you make a save eventually. So as well, yeah, it's a bad start as expected, but then yeah, glad the guys could work something out, especially in the absence of Karim Benzema. So that's something we should also add as well.
When Benzema is missing, we completely kind of lose our focal point in attack, and we look clueless. Javier, was our attacking worries purely down to how low Mallorca was set up with the D block?
I mean, I mean, I was talking to Farouk earlier. Like, it was the expected, Mallorca played their game, so we didn't play ours. Our game wasn't like, we knew that they're gonna defend with 9-10 players with a low block.
Yeah,
and we didn't. I don't know how to say it, but in Spanish it's named pared. We didn't do that. Like, improving the Vini and Rodrigo's game, as you said, Hazard was shitty, but not only Hazard. I think the whole attacking players in the first half was shitty. It's not only Hazard. It was Vini as well. It was Rodrigo as well. I think.
But don't you think it's a combination of them three that doesn't quite click like you want it to on paper?
No, it should click because it was clicking in the second half. I think it's the mindset, the attacking mindset. It was off, not the players. Maybe I will. For the get-go, I will start with Camavinga instead of Tony. And then you have like all attacking players with fast pace. Ceballos was playing well, and then Fede was. You all saw the first goal. Maybe with a low block, you need fast players. Maybe Tony wasn't in his prime, but I think they knew what was happening, and Carlo made the right adjustments. It was a rough game, but it wasn't bad as a whole. It was bad from the mindset. Like if you were playing FIFA, it wasn't like the right.
No, I get you. Like, their game plan from the get-go was to kind of stifle our rhythm and momentum, and I think they did well for large parts. You brought up Ceballos and Hazard. This was an opportunity for the players on the fringes to actually get some minutes, and Carlo had one eye, especially on the Leipzig game in midweek. So this was kind of his opportunity, Mallorca at home, to actually rotate. I'm going to come to you, Doris. Did you expect Hazard to have much more of an influence, especially in an attacking sense? Especially, also, we saw glimpses of it against Celtic, just 2-3 days ago.
But that was a different game and a different setup and different players and everything.
Much more open game against Celtic.
Yeah, and that's what suits him nowadays, because these days he can't get past anyone if his life depended on it. We saw it against Celtic that he showed some glimpses of it, but that wasn't enough. And he showed that today, even when he had the ball, the best he could do is a flick, do a quick pass or something.
Right.
But he was never in a position in the box to even receive the ball to be dangerous with it.
Yeah, that's always been
play as a striker today.
Sorry, I didn't get that, Doris.
He didn't play as a striker today, even though he tried. He didn't. In the first few minutes, he started quick. He wanted to get a shot, a quick goal, but it didn't work out. It deflected off of someone, and he started well, but throughout the game, he just slowed down a lot.
That's the thing with Hazard. The Yadu and Jacob, who are not here today, he's actually the host. But like when we were discussing the post game against Celtic, they were heaping praises. Obviously, I had to give him his flowers, especially for how well, like, he was involved in all 3 goals against Celtic. But I always told them this is the level of opposition maybe that kind of unlocks Hazard. But even then, you could see today, which was a clear evidence that when you don't have that burst of acceleration, you find it hard to go past players, and you find it hard to release someone at the right moment, which you saw how Rodrigo did for the Vinicius goal in the second half. And I think Hazard still has a long way to go to, completely get back in the game. Asensio, the camera cut to Asensio, I think towards the last 2-3 minutes of the game, and he looked pissed. He just looks like, he hates his life at the moment. And this guy was, at least consistently getting rotational minutes here and there, but he seems to be completely out of Carlo's picture at the moment. But Farooq, I want to come to you. The goal that we conceded, I couldn't see it because my stream was coming in and off, but I could read that it was kind of an error from Mendy. Can you walk me through it?
So the thing is this, right? Before even we walk through that, I mean, we've been doing this for almost a year now, right, tonight. I think one common theme we've had on this, on this spot is the fact that we can defend set pieces. I mean, we can have Goliaths on our team, but we will still concede from set pieces. And the point was this: Vedat Morki against Ferland Mendy was a mismatch. It was a total mismatch. So the point is, I don't know what people were expecting from there. Obviously, it's a mistake from Mendy, I think. But I felt like even if Mendy had contested that, it was a losing battle. He was never gonna get that. You get? So it was an awesome free kick from Lee. It was an awesome free kick from Lee, and for some reason, both Toni Kroos and Ferland Mendy didn't even attack the ball or anything. And then Vedat Murki was just onside by, I think, even just the whiskers of an air, man. He was so close. But to be honest, I feel like it was a mismatch in the first place. It was a mismatch in the first place, to be honest. It should be either, I think for sure, that should be Rudiger against Ferland Mendy. And actually, I just felt like, having this thing about zonal marking instead of positional marking, it just doesn't make sense. Zonal marking against man-to-man marking makes no sense. Because if you could see, Alaba and Rudiger, who were the 2 centre-backs, they were actually situated in a certain spot. And they were just there.
Discovering spaces.
Exactly, just covering that zone, exactly. And they left Ferland Mendy to fend for himself. And I felt like that was really, really, because it was just a goal out of the training ground, man. For sure, these guys have practiced this 1 billion times. And Lee has delivered that kind of ball to Murky a lot of times. So yeah, I just feel like still, irrespective of who starts for us, it doesn't matter, man. Even if you're 10 foot tall, 1 million foot tall, I think we're still gonna concede from set pieces and what is not.
Murky is not no ordinary block, he can do a job, especially for the lower La Liga sides. I think Mallorca, he is basically Mallorca's talisman. And Muriki again proved tonight how he can come up with a goal even against run of play. But
I mean, the point is, I listened to you guys during the midweek as well, and you guys rightly pointed out Vedat Muriki is the talisman. You understand? I mean, if you guys and we also can point this out, I mean, who are the scouts who are saying to Ferland Mendy to mark Vedat Muriki at a set piece, man? It doesn't make sense in my opinion.
It's naivety. Maybe I don't know. The commentator was mentioning how this is completely unrelated to the goal that we conceded, but I've been noticing this pattern that when we concede throw-ins at the far side, we kind of switch off, a quick throw-in, and we get caught out. Especially the wing backs, and it has been a recurring theme at least for the past 3 games. Thankfully, we didn't concede a goal today because of it, but. Yeah,
we nearly did though. We nearly did. At the 68th minute, we had something like that. Actually, we nearly did from that, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember. That's the thing. We gotta iron out these little mistakes that we can't completely switch off for a second. We gotta be on top of a game, especially if we are passively defending. But the first half concluded with Fede's goal, which, in my opinion, has been coming. We used to always discuss, and people used to ask me, if he has to actually fully realize his potential and completely take advantage of the trust the team and Carlo has in him, whether it be from the right wing spot or from midfield. He got to actually contribute towards more numbers on the board. And that goal kind of summed it up. Ceballos, I think, got the easiest assist of his career. He basically had to just lay it off to him with a 2-yard pass, and Fede Valverde just ran from his own box, scored the goal single-handedly. I would come to you, Kanita. Fede Valverde was always regarded as someone who is a Swiss Army knife. Like, he can occupy multiple positions, can defend, can attack. But do you think his talent and novelty has been lost kind of in translation when he is, often referred to as a utility player with not a nailed down starting position available to him? Like, is he more than just a utility player, basically?
Yeah, well, it's no denying that Fede can be a joker in many positions. But the thing is that in some positions, we can see that in certain games, he's when he more plays an attacking role or in the front, it's kind of lost. But when he's more free, a little bit in the back, but today, you can certainly see what Fede really is, and I think that goal, in my opinion, I think basically he assisted himself and scored a goal, and it was magical, and for me it's what Fede is, and I think he really deserved this goal, mostly because he kept missing lately, and
so many crossbars.
Great way to celebrate it and show who he is as a player.
So many near misses, right? Like, Fede Valverde has had some Hollywood chances, just either, coming off the crossbar, crashing on the post. So Fede has always had it coming. And you could see the release when he actually scored a goal. It meant a lot to him. And man, Fede keeps proving everyone wrong.
Yeah.
Along with Vinicius, I think them both have been, by far best players, in the starting phase of this season. But roll halftime, we go in 1-1 at the break. Spirits are lifted, and we are kind of looking to get back into the game. But it was a lull for the first 15 minutes. We were trying to kind of regain control back, Farouk. But how should we rate Carlo's substitutions again? How does he know the pulse of where the game is going and kind of adjust accordingly every single time?
Okay, Sunny, before I give an answer to that, I think a lot of people in the chat actually have been very buzzy. So let's just, get with them and we can move on. It gets more and more. So actually, we have Adriana here. She's a fellow of the Feminino from Spain. And actually, she has a question for you, Kanita. She's actually wondering that where did the name Memento Feminino came from? What was the origin of the name?
Oh, Memento Madridismo, yeah. So we thought about the name for a long time, and randomly I stumbled upon, again, it's a famous idiom, Latin idiom, Memento Mori, which means remember death, remember that you will die, which basically means nothing, remember that nothing is forever, that everything will come to an end. So basically we kind of played with this memento thing. So in the end, we thought about Memento Madridismo, which basically means remember Madridismo. What it means, what you feel with everything that you feel when someone tells you Real Madrid, Madridismo. So, yeah.
I wish our name was that novel. I got to put my hand.
Yeah, poetic
soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Indeed, it's quite poetic indeed. So we have Georgie in the chat as well. He says before the 65 minutes, it seemed like we overcomplicated things, trying to score the perfect goal or the beautiful goal, as he said. And then here comes the one to Cristiano FXHD. Actually, you promised him a shout out if Hazard scored, and Hazard scored in the Celtic game, and you didn't shout him out in the previous episode. So he's saying
Well,
he's waiting for his shout.
I was waiting for the perfect moment, kind of finish up covering the game, and then we could actually. But big up Cristiano, because he has been kind of having his crystal ball where he could actually predict some very significant stuff, and I didn't have any faith in him. When I saw the comment, I was like, this guy is waffling. But fair play, Cristiano. I hope you predict much more than Hazard goals. Come on, man, you can do better.
So actually, we have Yedu here. Yedu says, would love to hear your thoughts on how Hazard height changes from game to game. I don't know. That's something. I think maybe we're going to discuss that down the line. So maybe we can just skip that for the last. And then, so was asking, was Fede Valverde man of the match? And then they're asking like the false line with Hazard is not just worth it. Maybe we can do with Modric. But then Georgie is reminding them that we had the false line with Modric last year and it was a 4-0 with Barcelona.
Ask Doris, you got a response to that.
So the Yedu is finishing by saying, like I said last time, siesta kickoffs are a crime. So yeah, actually that's true. Like, this late afternoon kickoffs are just, And then we have also S Matthew. So yeah, shout out to S Matthew as well. Anyways, that's all we have so far.
Long time subscriber. Yeah, big up.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So just to go back to your question, actually, Sunay. So the thing is this, as they say, the leopard never changes the skin, and we always know that Carlo has always just had a group of 14 players he plays through the season with. But then I guess what happens is finally, he changed the sports. The leopard changed the sports, like whether he liked it or not. Like there's a World Cup in November, so he has to change this. And the thing now is that you start to understand how much deep our squad actually looks this time around. To be honest, obviously, for me personally, my man of the match was Dani Ceballos, to be honest, because he just blew me out of the water.
Bro, really?
He blew me out of the water. Like his passion, the way he was fighting for every second ball.
Agree.
He missed passes. And wow, I was like,
he was amazing today.
Okay. I'm like, okay. Like, to be honest, because the point is, for me, I've always been a big fan of Fede Valverde. And what he does doesn't surprise me anymore. Rather, what surprises me is the fact that, people are still here. Exactly. Sunay, for example, are still here claiming, Rodrigo needs to start. Where is he starting at? Who is he benching? Fede Valverde? No. Hell no. So,
let's get into it later, but you will know.
Yeah, I can get, we will get there. But for me personally, that depth actually shows, because we were discussing, even forget about Traoré and anything. But for me, Ceballos is like a new player in there. And also, we go to defense, as we've always spoke before, like Lucas Vazquez is not the most, is not the best person out there, but he's a warrior. He's going to put in a shift. So, I knew that obviously as the game was going on, when you have, players like Luka Modric on the bench, you can introduce fresh legs with Nacho, shift Alaba to the left back. And also that's a new list also. So to be honest,
I kind of knew that, we got to strengthen our
Exactly. I felt like, because, Mafia was on a yellow card. So I felt maybe Carlo also felt that, we can attack that more. So I think that's why he gave Alaba, the chance to, push on there as well. And maybe that would reduce the impact of Mafia on the game as well. So to be honest, I think Carlo's subs were really good. And the only chance the subs were able to be this good is because unlike last season, to be honest, this time around, we have quite a deep squad, like players who can actually contribute. And that's why, to be honest, hats off to Dani Ceballos once more, man.
I need to come to Doris, since Doris was chipping in saying that Ceballos was good. See, I'll give you another take, right? He's good. Don't get me wrong. He is a very handy player that come in and do a job. He is much more than your average backup midfielder. I'll give you that, because I was a huge critic of him. I used to like him when he used to play at Betis, and especially his first year maybe with us. He looked really promising. But in my opinion, he plays a lot of passive passes. He's not as incisive enough. Do you think, Doris, I have an argument for it? Or do you think I'm just not giving him the praise he deserves?
I think you're not giving him enough praise, because today he was awesome. He was incredible. Every tackle he made was amazing, and even if he lost the ball, he was the first man on it to get it back, and he got back, I think, almost every ball. If not, someone was there to collect it. Like he didn't make many mistakes, and he punished others for making mistakes, and that's all he has to do, because we have other creative players, and he was there when we needed him, and he was just what we needed, and we will definitely need him in the future. And just as you said, he's more than the average backup. But to add to that, who would you replace him with? I mean, who would you start him over? Not Modric, not Valverde, not Cruz, maybe.
Yeah,
Who would
yeah.
you,
The odds are kind of against
even Kamavinga and Tchouaméni start over him. So even with his performance today, I don't think he did much to make him start. I
He
hope
didn't,
so,
he didn't
because
put.
there's a lot of potential in him.
Totally. I could totally agree with the fact that he didn't put much of a foot wrong. But talking about substitutions, right? Another midfielder. As soon as he got up to warm up, you could see the crowd kind of sensing that this is coming. There's a turnaround coming. You just see the glorious man. You kind of get that injection of hope. At this age, Modric, how he manages to carry himself. Coming at the back of what he did in Glasgow. The interesting stat again that I heard on the commentary was, he's the first player since Puskas and Paco Bullo to actually have 100 appearances after they turned 35. So it goes to show again, this guy doesn't stop. And the moment he came on the pitch, again, I felt like he was kind of the difference, People know that you can't get close to Modric. And once Modric and Cruz kind of get their thing going, it's always difficult. Javier, does it seem like we got to stop highlighting what Modric does and only call him out when he has a bad game?
No, Sonny, we shouldn't do that.
Right. Because it's getting boring, It's getting boring.
Yeah. But I'm gonna repeat myself to the end of times. He's a Ballon d'Or. What else can you say? Yeah. But just to recap, I think the thing is, the last season we have a starting 11. We all knew what was our starting 11, and now we have these questions. How could you bench Rodrigo after this game? How could you bench Valverde? How could you bench Tchouaméni? How could you bench Modric, Kroos, and Vini? You cannot bench either one of them, but you have to. So this is our stronger squad than the last season. It's better. It's more equilibrated. As Doris said, Dani Ceballos played the first half without a center midfielder. Kroos wasn't doing that part. Valverde wasn't. So Dani Ceballos said, hey, I'm going to do both. I'm going to defend and I'm going to attack and keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And that's the way that you show to your manager that you should be a question for a starting 11 and maybe one of the first substitutions. Not making the faces like Marco Asensio. For me, how can you be mad after you watch what Vini and Rodrigo do? Just keep working, and when you are on the pitch, make yourself worthy. In that kind of attitude, it was. If you remember the last season, he scored an incredible goal and goes to the crowd and makes some gestures. I think he has plenty of time to prove himself. He's a very good player. He's a talented player. He scores a lot of beautiful goals, but his attitude is not right. He thinks he's better than he is. And I think we need to renew Dani Ceballos as soon as possible, because I think he's the best option when Luka is finally retired after maybe 50 years.
We just hope that that is actually true. 50 years, he'll be needing a cane, hopefully, to walk around, but he'll still be balling. That is a guarantee with Modric. But I'm going to ask you, Kanita, since Javier mentioned how the squad has kind of evolved into much more of a meteor machine that kind of has, at least on paper, very few weaknesses, apart from the obvious, maybe a backup goalkeeper. I think Lunin is a very able backup, but who do you think is undroppable, especially if you kind of take into account these first 5 to 6 games? One player who you can't drop. I mean, it's obvious, but you could just say it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Vinny, he scored in 5 games, right? We had in every game he scored, and Benzema before this injury, which might have been a recurring thing from before even, hasn't been in his element, and Vinny really stepped up. So yeah, he's definitely undroppable here. Yeah. Do you want me to say someone else?
I mean, you could. I mean, if you have an out of the box shout, you could go for it.
The thing is, not really obvious or anything. I don't know. For me, Chouamini, the second, but not really obvious, but yeah, for me, undroppable. I don't know what to tell you.
Chouamini has been really good, apart from a very, very few off moments. But going back to Vinicius, the obvious, undisputed, best winger, I think, best winger in Europe at the moment. How do you think, Anita, his game has evolved, especially, from 2 years ago? We all saw what he did last year, but I feel like there's another level to his incisiveness this season. The way he scored his goal today, even, it's the most subtle, touches, that enables the ball to, just fly into the net with the perfect weight, perfect trajectory. How does he kind of anticipate where the goalkeeper is gonna, kind of dive to, and just finish it with so much ease. He looks at so much ease, it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I saw when I saw the replay of his goal today, exactly what you mentioned, how the ball went through the goalkeeper and defender. I was like, how it looks so easy. It looked so easy in the beginning, but when I saw that replay in a specific angle, I think a bit on the side of the goal, that angle, I saw. That's when I saw that where the ball went, and I was like, "Damn, Winnie, you made it look so easy." But yes, he does that, and the assist to Rodrigo as well. It came in right in the perfect moment. He passed right when he should have, and
Exactly. I mean, I totally agree with how Rodrigo is kind of showing Hazard this is what you should be doing. But Farouk, I want to ask you, right? So this is exactly what Hazard lacks, especially against a low block where he kind of doesn't have the legs anymore to, be quick. I mean, you can laugh all you want, but that is the truth, at least with Hazard. Come on, man. Go for it.
Yeah. So first things first, man. I think whenever we, monetize this whole thing, the first thing we should do is trademark doesn't have legs. That's the first thing we should purchase whatever we make. Anyways, on a more serious note, to be honest, I think, I actually, felt really, really like the Hazard wasn't in the game. And to be honest, I wouldn't lie to you. Also, for the first 15 minutes, I also felt Rodrigo wasn't in the game as well. So I actually felt they were going to be our first two subs.
I feel like the dynamic between Rodrigo and Hazard, it's kind of off. I can't put my finger on it, but
So yeah, that's the thing. I actually felt like, one other thing is that, to be honest, like, credit to both Rodrigo and Hazard, I felt like, Carlo playing them all three together with Vini wasn't a very wise option, in my opinion. I felt like they could not gel together because, like, they're going to try to take up the same space. He's going to try to play the same 1-2 passes. And
Rodrigo was always cutting inside. He was coming inside.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's always going to come inside because that's what Rodrigo does, you understand? So it's going to be like a crowd in there. So I was thinking, like, rather than that, playing two of them together, either Vini and Hazard or Vini and Rodrigo would have made more sense, to be honest. So I felt maybe that was something as well. But yeah, as you could see, immediately Hazard went off, like Rodrigo just, shot, like he just started to play better and, started to make runs, trying to, go into spaces that no one was as well, which before Hazard was in. So I think that's something. So I actually feel like maybe if Hazard had played in the same situation where Rodrigo wasn't there, maybe that might be something as well. But actually, as someone pointed out in the chat, actually, Hazard was so hesitant, to be honest. Hazard is really, really hesitant, to be honest. He's so hesitant. Yeah, so I think, at a certain point in time, you just have to accept that, it doesn't work anymore and it's not going to work anymore. And actually, for me personally, like, I'm not actually expecting a lot of things from Eden Hazard. So that's why after the midweek game, I know now everyone is going to be like, okay, yeah, the man is back and stuff like that. So I actually wasn't expecting that. But at least I was expecting him to, run around, take a bit, take players on and something like that. But yeah, he couldn't do that as well. So
see you, Javier. See you soon. Take care.
Yeah. So I will just support your sentence that the man doesn't. I don't think he has the legs anymore as well. He's just he can't do it anymore, I think.
And also, we should be patenting it. You should be looking into it, Farouk. Okay? So, we gotta make some money ASAP. This is the easier way. But Doris, coming to you, Rodrigo, this man is kind of putting himself up there. In spite of Fede doing so well, regardless of whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench, he used to have a bad reputation that he can't work his magic when he starts. Do you think he's finally kind of putting it behind him?
I think so. Yeah, he's matured a lot in the last 2 years, not just last year. I would say the season before that also. It's been a nice trajectory for his maturity, and you can see this season he's focusing a lot in front of goal, and he deserves the starting spot. And today I liked what Ancelotti did in Benzema's absence when he switched Modric for Hazard, because it allowed Valverde to go to the right and shift from the midfield, and Rodrigo to go in the middle of the box for every cross after that, which resulted in the goal later. And that was a perfect decision from Ancelotti, and I think that's what we should do from now on. But it's difficult when you have Benzema there, because then you don't know who to change him with, because then Valverde has to change with someone in the midfield, and our midfield is stacked even without him.
Yeah. But these are what I guess Carlo and his staff gets paid for. This selection headache is essentially what we lacked last season, and this is only going to improve how unpredictable we are. But Carlo, I think in the pre-match presser was asked, is possession football kind of getting outdated, or is it overrated? He was telling the people that in my opinion, it is overrated, because people people doesn't want, 1,000 passes without much of an end product. They need much more incisive, direct football. And I think we have been, kind of the best ambassadors, especially in the Champions League run last season. And we are kind of proving it again this season that, we are very quick. We just cut through teams. When we are on it, we cut through teams like knife through butter. It is as easy as it. But I need to come to you, Farooq. Yeah. Another guy, Rudiger, who we all were kind of in two minds when he was linked to us, especially before the end of last season. It was his burnabout debut goal. Not an easy goal to take, on the volley. Basically, in a game that was kind of finished, you could see it meant a lot to him. Is this a good omen? And how would you rate his kind of influence in the team already?
Yeah, definitely, man. I think it was a very good goal. I think it was a well taken goal, and I think it was a goal, that will boost that will boost his morale as well. Actually in the chat, Yedu was actually asking about what do we think of Rudiger? Like, what about Militao's injury? Like, did he disrupt the flow of the centre back pairing and stuff like that? But I think to be honest, away from the couple of moments of madness, which I think is now just hereditary in our team, every defender is going to have that. Like, I felt like it was quite a good game from Rudiger as well, and capped with the goal. It was a really, really good goal, to be honest. And Rudiger, we know from his Chelsea days, is one for he's one with an eye for a goal. So I mean, and we haven't had that a lot since Ramos left, to be honest. Both Alaba and Militao haven't done that a lot. So if Rudiger could chip in with a goal here and there as well, that would be a bad thing, to be honest. And yeah, what a home debut for him as well.
Well, it was a fantastic finish. It's not easy. It's not easy. You're kind of mid balance and you need to angle the shot. And the goalkeeper didn't have a chance. The goalkeeper did his best to get to it, but it was gone before he could react. So yeah, brilliant goal. Rudiger has, again, like many other players in midfield, at least a good 2-3 guys, in front of him. So all this is going to add to how they can kind of keep pushing themselves. And another big game is coming up, Leipzig, and I think they are kind of being resurgent. I don't recall the game score, but I heard that they were giving Dortmund a tough time. I think over the weekend. So I think this is perfect, man. Like, if you remember, like, we used to panic when we used to have midweek games. Now I think Carlo has kind of struck the perfect balance, especially also due to the wealth of options he have. I think this season, like, if we keep humble like last season, Farooq, I need to pay attention. I need you to pay attention that we gotta be humble, right? If we move in silence, we tend to do well. It's always been the case. The moment
what are you talking? What humility are you talking about, man? You're going to Celtic you're going to Celtic that between two players in the team can. I'm not going to. Between two players are going to play for Castilla, man. What are you talking about? Yeah, Leipzig. We have to be careful, obviously, because Leipzig are semi-finalists from 2 years ago. Obviously, but Celtic. Nah, man, I wouldn't buy that.
But they gave it a game, man. Celtic gave.
I mean, Mallorca gave you a game as well, man. That's the point. It's about the fact that. It's about the fact that you're starting very slowly in your games. This is the point. Your players aren't getting going. When they get going, they can't be stopped by Celtic. This is the whole point. Real Madrid literally sliced through Celtic in the space of 20 minutes. This is your team at their best. Not even at their best, at 50% of their best. That's the point. They just got
tired. I feel like, bro, in my opinion, Celtic gave us a much better game than Mallorca. At least they were brave.
The game against Frankfurt was also very hotly contested, man. But that doesn't mean like Frankfurt isn't. I mean, the point is, when you go, for example, when I go into the game against Leipzig, I know, okay, like these are players who are potential to have world-class level players. You go to Christopher Nkunku, Leimer, even Timo Werner that people don't like, Dominic Szoboszlai, and you check the defender Gavido. These are players that could develop into world-class players. These are players that, could do shit to you. I know, but I don't know, man. Anyways, Celtic is what it is, man.
Fair enough. I was just getting getting a slide to get you when I got the chance. But I guess job well done. Bonaparte will go for Rudiger. Rodrigo coming up clutch again. Valverde with a fantastic finish. I think it was a good day out. Again, we keep our undefeated run going. But I think we need to spend the last 10 minutes kind of picking Kanita's brain because she's a very busy person. She kind of has her own, things to deal with, especially the collaboration kind of looming.
So maybe before you go there, can we just go through the chat quickly and then we can just move on?
Go for it.
So yeah, actually here we have Yedu actually is pointing out to the fact that you said Vini is the best winger in Europe, and he's like, are you sure? Graham Sones will surely disagree with you. And then yeah, we have another one here saying that I forgot to actually it's Javier. He's saying that I forgot to point out that Rodrigo's ceiling is yet to be seen as well. He's just 21. Yeah, and I think Matthew here is telling me that that's actually Dortmund was defeated 3-0 by Leipzig. And then Matthew also is saying poor Farouk, LOL. Yeah, because Sunil is speaking on me, right? LOL indeed.
People are going to be sympathetic with Farouk, but when you see Farouk in his element, he's kind of calm today. I think he is kind of off it. But when you see him in his element, you will notice that he'll rile you up easy.
Yeah. Well, I do agree with Javier's point about that Rodrigo's ceiling is yet to be seen. So yeah, we just have to wait and be patient and see how it goes in.
Rodrigo is for sure one to watch. But I think we should take this moment to kind of pick Kanita's brain. I hope we kind of ask very sensible questions, because we got to put our hands up and say that we are very inexperienced in Feminino. All of us consider this as sort of a learning experience, and to address the most pressing issue, on Saturday the games were cancelled because of a strike by the referee association. Can you give us a brief insight into what went on and how something like that can happen?
Well, first things first. This league has become professional only this year, so now it's officially professional, and there have been a lot of problems in the league since it wasn't professional, but now it looks like that they kind of don't yet know how to organize the problem solving meetings, so the thing is that there was a lot to work on. For an example, like only a week ago we signed our non-EU players, because they just didn't know how many players they want every team to have.
They got signed, right? Yeah.
Then TV rights were like 5 days ago, and then like 3 days ago there was a press conference with a referee assistant saying we are paid 160 euros per match. So 160 euros per match is nothing. They have to, work another job, obviously. But since this is a professional league, they're asked for exclusivity. That means basically more time spent on refereeing, but they can't do that with 160 euros a match. And it kind of grew into the strike, So 2 days ago, 3 days ago now, they said we won't show up until they give us a professional contract. Everyone got a professional contract. The teams, the players, everyone is professional now. The league is professional, so the referees have to be professional too. They have to get a professional contract. 160 euros is nothing. Obviously, exclusivity is not an option with this. And they said, but the thing is that RFEF, the Royal Football Federation in Spain, didn't respond to them for like a day. They just said, Rubiales, just didn't care, I guess. So they were all late in this. And then I think, on Friday, they held a meeting, the referees held a meeting, said, we're not showing up. No one will judge the games. No one will whistle the start, nothing. You guys do your own things and get back to us, basically. Today there was a press conference with the referees. They said they will explain. Well, no, not today. Sorry, today is not Monday. I'm on Monday. They will hold a press conference.
So you're saying it's still not decided when exactly the league can start, right?
Well, we have a schedule. Basically, the next match day is next weekend. So until that's resolved, we might not have a match day 2 either, like next week. But basically, the thing is that the games weren't officially suspended. So they didn't. So they told every team to travel, to come to the venue, everything, like do everything. They warmed up.
They were training, right?
They went on the pitch, presented themselves, but nothing with the referee. So they just waited for half an hour on the pitch, and then after half an hour, they were told on the speaker on the stadium that the game is suspended. So basically, that's the whole circus. I don't think anything like this has happened in any league, but this wild. And we've been like 3 weeks without a game of them, and it's because of the Champions League games. We play Champions League games because that's why we had any games. But everyone misses Spanish football, and
it is kind of mad how in contrast to how organized the men's game is, stuff like this happen on the regular on the Feminino side. Like, is it purely due to a lack of care, like you said, from the higher ups, especially the people who run the Spanish game? Is it just, or is it because they don't make enough money to care? Is that the right way to say it?
The thing is, there are a lot of sponsors right now for the professional league.
Yeah.
I mean, let's quickly run back to that Gerard Piqué thing, the whole scandal with Rubiales and those. Well, basically what Piqué said then, like, oh, these millions aren't for nothing. They're for the women's game, for the women's league. And we just keep saying, Piqué, where are the millions? Where are the millions, Piqué? But basically, there's a lot of it that's being invested, a lot of sponsors coming in. So it's not really money issue anymore. It's just organization issue that they just don't know how to solve problems. I don't know what to tell you.
I think like as the game kind of goes through its evolution, silly stuff like this will be taken more seriously, and I think it'll just not happen. The Spanish game, especially for the women's Spanish game, is kind of relatively young in its infancy still. So hopefully this gets ironed out, and this is not a good look, especially for people who are who might be dreaming to play for the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atleti, all the good teams in Spain. They might be discouraged by how mismanaged this is. But I would kind of step to the side and maybe ask Farouk or Doris if you have any kind of interesting questions. We are all newbies. You can go for it.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. So actually, that's the thing. Like, to be honest, like I found it so weird. Like I did not have the rundown like as Kanita just gave right now. But I just found it so interesting that like just 2 seasons ago, like Barcelona were treble winners. We have like Alexis Puertas, who is like the best player in the world, and right now Barcelona are arguably the best team in the world. I mean, even before Puertas injured her ACL like Spain were the favorites to win the Euros, filled with players playing at this, be it Sociedad, be it Madrid, be it Atletico, like we had players there, like, and, you had record crowd for the games at the Camp Nou last season, man. I think 2-3 games in a row were all record crowd. So I find it so, I don't know, so weird that the level of, mismanagement is I don't know, like, do you have any news about what the clubs themselves are saying about this? I don't know if you could run us through about that. Because, eventually, like, for a team like Barcelona, who is like trying to compete to win the European Cup again, like when teams like Wolfsburg and Lyon and Paris are doing their things, like these are the main competitors. If these guys have their things in order, it's a detriment for Barcelona, for example.
So here's the thing. No club really said anything about this. Strike and everything, but there's been one thing and one thing only, and that's from Real Madrid. So after the game was suspended, the club delegates and the captains of the teams had to sign a document, basically, after a suspended game. And one document was pictured, and it was ours, because our delegate wrote that Real Madrid supports fully the right to strike of the referees. They are asking for the sanctions that the RFEF wants to give the referees for the strike. They don't want the sanctions to happen, basically. So that's it. It was just in the document, but it was in the place where the delegate should have just signed, but everyone just made the signature, but our delegate also made that additional note, handwritten it, that they don't want any sanctions to the refs. And that's it. That's the only stand anyone has taken, and it's Real Madrid. And imagine how others reacted, because it's Real Madrid saying, "Oh, they want to have a good relationship with refs." So I don't know. Maybe
it's very ironic because Kanita, you actually showed me how Real Madrid TV kind of, but it was European officials. It's a different thing, I guess. But it's kind of ironic where our official channel kind of put up a montage of refereeing decisions kind of going against us, and then we are kind of taking the stance with the referees now. But I think it's the way the game is moving, at least at the moment. Doris, if you have anything to kind of chip in with and pick Kanita's brains, you could go for it.
Muted.
Oops. Yeah. How many days is it? Is the strike going to last? Is it long?
Yeah. Hopefully not past the next weekend. They just want a solution. That's it. Because they have time. So the next match day is Saturday. So they have time to solve the issue, and if they don't, then they'll continue striking, I guess. So, yeah. I mean, tomorrow we'll get the press conference, referees explaining the reasons and everything. So, yeah, I hope soon.
I guess it's like so maybe tomorrow's press conference kind of clears a lot of a lot of the inconsistencies in what news is coming out, I guess. But I wanted to ask you, Kanita, obviously we're going to be doing very in-depth stuff later on, obviously. But like, if you could kind of run us through Real Madrid Feminino's aspirations towards this season, and how optimistic are you looking, especially since we kind of stacked up midfield like the men's team. I've heard, women's midfield is also pretty solid. Asllani leaving obviously would kind of leave a void, but I've heard that Toril is kind of holding down the ship, and people feel like he's kind of the man to take this team forward. He's a former Castilla product. He's a former player. He kind of knows the values of the club and stuff like that. What do you kind of expect from our team this season?
Well, here's the thing. So the first season was 2020/2021, so 2 seasons ago. And in their first season as Real Madrid Feminino, they achieved something no one expected: second place in the league. After an unstoppable Barcelona, we the next season, last one, we qualified for Champions League. We beat Manchester City, who is considered very well.
They're one of the best.
One of the best, very experienced, Manchester City. Basically, they've existed for more years. And they said that no way Real Madrid won't beat them, but we did in the best way possible. But that was in the beginning of the last season. Then stuff happened. We kind of threw away the hope of seeing Champions League this season again. But like you said, Toril came. He never coached a women's team, by the way. We are the first team.
Is there something you got to be concerned with, because there are nuances in how you approach a women's game and the men's game? Do you think?
The thing is that Toril, I don't know how far we can go, but I know that Toril has made something possible, reaching the Champions League spot. We came in third last season after being in relegation zone for 6 games, I don't know. He did what's necessary. We didn't necessarily dominate any games. We didn't score many goals. We scored just 40, I think, in the league or something. But we did what's necessary. We won games, which got us to the third place. And the thing is that now he has a clean slate. So I don't really know, but I know that the aspirations, what team wants, what the players want, what he wants as well. I'm sure he's a huge Madridista, so he has to know. This team has dreamt of this for their whole careers, most of them, at least 20 of them. So they really have strong aspirations. And they whenever they were asked in interviews before El Clasico, is it possible? Is it a fantasy? Is it just a dream? Or is it a reality? Is it a possibility? Could it be a reality soon? They didn't hesitate. Said yes, we can. They lose every game, but they really try. They go with their whole heart, and I believe this team can go very far. I hope we can play our first final this season. We are in the Supercopa, with the Spanish Super Cup. So if we could, we have to win the semi-final to go to the final. So maybe we play our first final, and I believe that if our girls see a trophy.
Who are we up against in the Spanish Super Cup?
The thing is, last year we didn't know until 2 weeks ago, weeks before. So I don't know, honestly. We'll get in January, but it's Real Sociedad, Barcelona, and Sporting Huelva. So yeah, we expected. We expected to win the semi-final against Barcelona in the Spanish Cup, but that was the last game of the season. Basically, they were tired, so that didn't go well. But our semi-final against Barcelona in the Super Cup was good. We lost in the last minute, sadly, but great fight. And another thing is that they gave us Barcelona in every draw we could have had. In Super Cup, in Champions League, in the Cup. So I think they didn't really give us a chance, an experienced team against a labeled unstoppable team. So, but they did do well, and I believe that this season they did learn a lot from last season. This season we do have a squad as well that can do it, and they aspire to do as well as they can in all 4 competitions. So we'll see. Hoping for a final.
I hope this can be another stepping stone in the right direction. We had a few good signings. Sandro Toletti, Caroline Bayer, Naomi Farrell. Like who do you think will be the most decisive? Just to kind of wrap things up, out of the new signings, that is going to actually have the most impact in the team?
Well, the expected one is Caroline Weir. She came from Manchester City, and she actually scored the only goal that eliminated Manchester City this season. So, and she's like a superstar. Like, we got her. The thing is that she's a major Madridista, Zinedine Zidane fan. She's Zidane is her idol and everything, and she's an attacking midfielder. This is the first time we actually have a proper attacking midfielder that and you can see that she does score a lot. I think she scored already 4 goals, including the preseason, only one in the Champions League. For sure, 2 games of the season, but in 6 games that we played, she scored 4 goals. So, and in the gameplay as well, we can see that switch, in the gameplay. And but after Weir, I'd say Naomi Fella. Fella is a striker, natural striker.
One of the quickest in the team, I've heard.
Yeah, she's 20 years old. Comes from Rennes, she's a natural striker. However, she plays on the wing, on the right wing. We don't really have a true right wing.
It's like the men's team. No right winger. Right winger is kind of a myth in our club.
But we don't have many candidates for right wing.
Right.
So what she showed in the right wing, like, she's fast, she has physicality. I mean, she comes from the French league. It's a bit more physical than Spanish league currently. So she really showed that, But the thing is that she's a bit injury prone, and things like she wasn't called up for yesterday. She had an ACL injury 2 seasons ago. Last season was her recovery season, and she's a bit injury prone, so maybe a bit patience with her. But what I saw from her, Weir and Fella, I think that those are our most important signings right now, because they're really making that impact, especially in the attack, which attack was very dysfunctional, so to say.
Fair points. I could see the excitement being generated by the signings, when you kind of lay it out there, it's very understandable, and there are positions that we kind of strengthened. I feel like from an outsider looking in, who doesn't have much in-depth understanding of the women's game yet. But before we wrap this up, one small thing that I would like to put out, since Kanita is here, and we discussed the women's game for like 20 minutes now, but it would be a shame if we don't ask her about her obsession, which is with Nahikari. She is one of the most craziest fans of Nahikari Garcia. She has fan pages for her. She has
Icardi.
Yeah. He has
Icardi, the guy who came to. Oh crap! No.
I don't know.
What?
No.
Why? Okay, I don't know what's with Farouk.
Nah, I mean, Icardi is the most okay. Like, there was a time that Icardi was at Inter where I thought, like, okay, this guy could actually be a real human being. But then after then I realized that this guy is he's not just worth it. He's not worth the time, the money, the effort, anything. Icardi is the most garbage of garbage, in my opinion. I mean, even as a player, he's not that good, to be honest, in my opinion.
Oh, what?
Wow. I
Talking
think,
about the
yeah.
same person, Farooq.
Which, I thought you were talking about Icardi.
Not Icardi. Nahikari.
Sorry.
I hope you're paying attention, Doris. Farooq actually thought we're talking about Mauro Icardi when we're talking about Nahikari Garcia.
Why would we?
Even in the chat, someone wrote Mauro Icardi, man.
I heard he a few times, and I thought, oh, that's definitely not what you're talking about.
Oh,
right?
okay, then my bad.
But you raised the hand before.
Actually, I was just gonna, because we had some chat updates, so I was just gonna go there and then Javier is saying Javier is saying, Kanita, it's a pleasure. Also, hashtag Save Farooq. Yadu was like, thanks for the updates. Kanita, I didn't know about this. And then we have Shubhankar. I hope I pronounced the name right. Said amazing.
She's my friend.
Amazing. Amazing insight by Kanita about the Real Madrid Feminino. And then we have Adriana. They're asking, what do you think Freya, I think if I'm right, will bring to the team? Yeah. They're asking about that. And then we come to the misunderstanding of Mauro Icardi and misunderstanding, and he's just laughing. And you can just answer Adriana about the Freya.
Freya Olofsson. Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. She came from the American League. American League is actually in women's game the best. Yeah. It's very, very on top there.
Advanced.
But the thing is that Freya Olofsson is Swedish. I think she's 24. Yeah, but we don't really know much about her. But we didn't know about most of our signings anyway. But we learned to love them very quickly, like first game. And I don't know really. I don't know much about her. I know she's a defensive midfielder. She doesn't play for the national team. I haven't seen her ever playing there, so I don't know. Maybe
a slight worry, right?
Playing
the best of the best players always get called up to their respective national teams, right?
Yeah, the thing is that a lot of players didn't get called up for the national teams before Real Madrid, like Carolina Mila, she's Danish. She didn't really get much call-ups for Denmark, but last season she got it. She got this breakthrough, and I'm really happy for her. And I hope Freya does it as well. I don't really know how Freya is. We lost our defensive midfielder, Aurelia Cassi. She was also one of the captains. But yeah, to be honest, I don't see this necessity for a defensive midfielder with this midfield we have, because all midfielders we have are very diverse. Like no midfielder has the same function. When they're on pitch, they're going to play differently. So I didn't see a need to get Freya, but we'll see. And this was a sudden move. Like we got her like 4 days ago. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know really. I learned about
like 200K, or was it 150K or something?
It was rumored to be 225K, but we don't really know the thing.
Right. So people were like kind of going crazy because the record signing, I don't know, it was by who?
Keira Walsh, Barcelona, from Manchester City. Yeah.
400K or something, right?
400K pounds, not euros.
Pounds. Right.
With add-ons.
With add-ons. People were kind of questioning it. But man, Nahikari Garcia, take it away. This is your chance. This is your chance to kind of.
First of all, her name is Naikari. You don't.
People don't like much of what they see about her on the pitch. They don't give her the respect she deserves. You feel? I'm sure you have something strong to say.
The thing is,
He's not a starter. I get it. She's much more of a.
I became her fan last season with Real Madrid when I saw with Real Madrid. I don't know. I never really was into focusing on attackers, and she's the first attacker. She's a striker, so she's the first attacker that I really wanted to analyze the game and everything. The thing is that it's a bit of a different kind of difficult situation because she came with a lot of expectations. The thing is, she's in history the biggest goal scorer of Real Sociedad. Yeah, she's the legend of Real Sociedad. She won a trophy with them, their first and only trophy, Copa del Reina. She scored a winning goal in the final and everything. Has 104 goals. That's the most anyone has in the Real Sociedad Feminino. She left with that legacy in 200 games, like around, by the way. So she left with that legacy, and she should have gone to Real Madrid in 2020. Actually, she said yes immediately for the first season, but they didn't let her go. That's a whole other story. But yeah, she came with a lot of expectations. With a player like that, I think that she was the most hyped transfer that we ever had. Hyped. Everyone was like on July 1st last year of 2021 was like, oh my God, it's finally official. And the thing is that I can see, like, it's not just as a player, I can see that she as a person is hard at adjusting. She doesn't know the team after playing for 8 seasons in Sociedad. She doesn't know the team doesn't know her. She's a bit of a complicated player. She's not really a 9, She's
very technically gifted, but people say she's not a natural goal scorer.
Natural.
But she's the top scorer of Sociedad, so yeah, that is kind of the conundrum that even I faced when I read.
She is. I mean, she hates when she doesn't score. Like I don't like. She can. I don't know. Not just when she doesn't score. Like when she doesn't do a solid game. Like not just a good game. If she doesn't do a solid game, she's not happy with that. But natural goal scorer, I think she is. But doesn't show in Real Madrid.
You think this season is going to be maybe where she finally kind of kickstarts her career with us? I mean,
I hope she really wants it. She tries every game. Like she never stops. If you focus on her a bit when she's in the shot, she's always working, like non-stop. She's pressing. She's like without the ball. The thing is, it's a bit of complication. We have like 100 strikers in the team. I'm not kidding. So right now, Esther is our main striker, and I agree she's unstoppable. Like she's unstoppable, as Terminator we call her, and obviously she's starting striker. However, formations can change and stuff. But we have Caroline Miller, which was actually converted to play on the right wing because we didn't have a right wing and too many strikers. Then we have Lorena, who doesn't ever play, but she's a striker. She can also play as a 10. But the thing is, she's not really obvious choice because of her height, physicality, Then now we have Fela, who's also a natural striker, what I said, but good thing is she's a natural in wing as well, what I saw in her game. So this is a mess. It's been a mess with this position because last summer we got 3 strikers, Nekari, Esther, and Mila. So that was.
You know fun. What we should actually like. I think we can all agree that we should probably take one of the strikers from the Feminino team.
I agree. I said take Nekari.
Give Mariano a real run for his money. It's about time.
Okay. I can agree with you on this, Sinead. We can agree on this, man. We can agree.
I said the same thing. Like just Carlo, just take one of them and come on. But yeah, it's either no strikers or too many strikers in Real Madrid Club de Football. I don't know what to tell you.
I know. Well, I guess we need to kind of wrap this up. It's been a pleasure, Kanita.
Definitely.
We hope to see more of you, especially on our channel, on the Memento Madridismo channel. You guys can, to all the listeners, especially on the audio platforms, like if you can go to our page on Instagram or on Twitter, you can see all the details for Memento Madridismo. The link is also in the video description. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled out for this collaboration that I'm very much looking forward to. And I think this is going to be something special because both of our podcasts deal specifically in one team. So they excel in coloring the Feminino team. We do the men's team. So it's kind of a scenario of best of both worlds. And I think we can kind of make more people aware about the Feminino game as much as we can. And I think this is a step in the right direction in educating people, about how far it has come, the Feminino game, especially from like 4 or 5 years ago. It's been an absolute pleasure, Kanita. Doris and Farooq, if you have anything else to add, you can go for it.
Yeah, I just want to shout out the peoples in the chat. Like we had Jacob, we had Adriana, we had Matthew, Yadu, Georgie, Cristiano, and we had who else did we have? And we had Big and Matthew and Javier, and also we have Shubhankar. And yeah, also he's actually making Nakari can be a perfect replacement for Benz more than just a goal scorer, he says.
Who said that? Yeah. Who said that? Someone Kanita's best friend, I think. Obviously.
It's Shubhankar.
Oh yeah.
This is the propaganda they push. It's not a surprise.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
but what I can say is that, to be honest, like Kanita, like, to be honest, it's a pleasure having you on, and we can actually even see from the engagement of the fans, like, for example, we
these
had guys who
know their stuff,
Exactly, that's the thing, like, these are people who are always, like, for example, the likes of, Matthew and Adriana. These are people who have always been, listening to us and joining us, so for them, and they're actually really, really interested, and they're actually saying that they did not know these things, so it's for that. I mean, personally, for me and for them as well, it's really, really, a really good experience, and it was a pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much. Hopefully we can, do much more of this in the future.
Nice to meet you. Me too.
Likewise. Yeah. Likewise. Yeah, shout out to our friends at RMC Committee. You can check out their page. They have been with us through this journey for over a year. Doris, I think you were about to say something.
No, I just want to say thank you, and I hope that we keep this going. I mean, I'm sure that we will, and I hope that the future of our Feminino podcast is blooming as our main podcast.
Yeah, the Balkan connection. I need to see more of it. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess until then, keep your eyes peeled out for the Leipzig preview. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow or the day after, we'll be just posting an update as soon as we can kind of confirm the times. But yeah, people, until then, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Is Farooq stuck?